Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. Well, the sign reads high water, and in my story last week, I talked about the struggle farmers are having across the state getting their corn into the ground. In that story, we talked about the rising backwater at Wiggers Farms. Here is some of that video from a couple of weeks ago.
Now the Beff River has crested at 57.4 feet. Here's what that same field looks like. This week, Twila's Carl Wiggers shows us the depths another Franklin Parish farmer is going to get his corn crop planted.
Greg Kincaid is headed for high water, but luckily it's not in his fields. It's just making it very difficult to get to his fields. He's not just trying to get to his back 40 either. This 300-acre farm is a major part of Kincaid's farm.
This is some of my better land. It's all irrigated. I just really can't afford to leave a third of my crop out. I mean, I have crop insurance, but I'd much rather have a crop than rely on the insurance.
That very thing happened in 2016 when the high water and constant rains kept him from planting on this land. So now, while there's a break in the rain this week, it's time to wade through the waters to get this crop in the ground.
Unless something changes, from the predictions with the Corps, none of the land back here should go under, so what we plant should be fine, and hopefully the water will be down where we can get in here and fertilize it and get it worked out after we get it planted.
This is not the first time for Kincaid to plant in these conditions. 2016 wasn't even his first experience with high water around this land.
We went through this in 1991. We had a pretty big flood in 91, and then there were two wooden bridges on that road, and we didn't trust those at all. And I moved the tractors back here before the water got very deep, and we wound up having a boat in to plant cotton. We boated in seed and chemicals to plant 300 acres back here that year, and so it's not our first go-round with this. So.
Farming near the Beff River takes some understanding of Mother Nature. Kincaid explains that he could not risk waiting on this backwater to come down before he planted this year's crop.
That was the thing. While I had this window to get in here, if I waited 7 to 10 days for the water to fall some, it still wouldn't be off the road. If we had a rain during that time, then it may be too wet to plant back here. So I'm just trying to take advantage of this dry spell to get it planted.
I spoke with Greg this morning, and yesterday he planted around 95 acres. At that rate, he should be finished planting by the time that this story airs. What Kincaid and other farmers along the Beff River need now is for the river levels to drop and stay down for the summer. And Avery, Kristen, it's kind of freaky going to Mom and Dad's farm and seeing what that water looks like. Dad says it looks about 4 feet different than 2016, but it doesn't look that different in my eyes. It's a lot of water on top of a lot of rows of corn, and some of it's already planted. I went to the same place I went actually in 2016, and I saw the exact same looking image.
In Vidalia along the Mississippi River, just on the other side of the levee, all of those fields are slowly filling up with seepage water. So it's a very same scenario from 2016 and 2011, which hopefully it will not get that bad.
Yeah, I remember whenever we went out there and shot the show, you were standing there and it looked like there were white caps in a field.
There were, pretty much.
Yeah, in a field, because it was windy and blustery that day. I mean, that's got to be a pain for your dad to have to go through all of this again.
Yeah, and I didn't really speak to Dad too much about it because it's kind of a sore subject for farmers, but I noticed as I was out there filming, I wanted to get some natural sounds, some sounds of the water crashing into the rows, and I looked, and you can see the water is just carving out rows of corn. You can see I saw the edge of, little bitty root systems of corn that's this tall, and it's kind of like, that's not supposed to happen in a cornfield.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting how it turns out in the next few weeks, and I think the rivers are going to start maybe easing down now, so we can hope for a drier summer.
Yeah, a dry spring too to finish it out. Carl Wiggers, thanks. Well, the LSU College of Agriculture has at least 40 majors for students aiming to succeed in life.
But it takes a lot of time, work, and money to get that education. That's where the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Sporting Clays Challenge comes in to help pay for classroom materials through the Ag in the Classroom program and to fund scholarships for those going to college.
Every shot is a hit for agriculture education. This is the 7th annual Louisiana Farm Bureau Sporting Clays Challenge at Las Palomas. Louisiana Farm Bureau board member Marty Woldridge says 34 teams traveled all the way to Benton, Louisiana to compete for a good cause.
It's one of our largest ones that we've ever had up here in Northwest Louisiana. And when I say Northwest Louisiana, you got to admit, you got to realize we're only about 10 or 15 miles out of the state of Arkansas right now. But, you know, great facility here at Los Palomas. Great sponsorships from Ford Motor Company and Case and John Deere and all of our parish farm bureaus.
The aim of this event is to raise money for the Louisiana Farm Bureau Ag in the Classroom program. Louisiana Farm Bureau President Ronnie Anderson says that money is then used to buy materials and provide training to teachers who teach agriculture to elementary and high school students.
These fundraisers have meant so much to Ag in the Classroom over the years, and it's very important to us to be able to make the supplies available.
And while youngsters benefit while still in school, this event helps those going to college as well by funding scholarships.
So seniors graduating in the state of Louisiana, they're going to study agriculture at a Louisiana school, are eligible for a 4-year scholarship program. Anderson says the commitment of Louisiana's farmers and ranchers to support an event like this speaks to what they hold dear.
It shows you how much they believe in ag and teaching kids, generations of kids, what agriculture really means. There's so many children nowadays that do not grow up on an active farm, and this is one of the ways that we can raise funds to do those activities and bring it to the teachers. Many of those teachers aren't aware of some of the things that we're trying to communicate to the kids, and it really works good. It's a benefit to the teachers, the children, their parents, and to us as leaders in agriculture.
The 7th annual Louisiana Farm Bureau Sporting Clays Challenge raised about $20,000 for AITC and the Farm Bureau Foundation. To learn more about these programs and how to apply for a scholarship, visit our website at twilatv.org.
Last week, the Women's Leadership Committee hosted their annual family conference where they traveled to the home of Tabasco, Avery Island, to see how this world-famous hot sauce is made. Louisiana Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee Chair Denise Canatella says this year's conference brought many new faces into the program.
We have roughly 100 with some of our staff members. We're like at 104 members that are here from around the state. A lot of people traveled from all areas, which is really great. I have a lot of new faces I haven't seen before, which is always a great thing for me as the Women's Leadership Chairman to see. It means that our word is getting out there about how we're educating our members and how they want to come out and be a part of it. It's the Women's Leadership Project, but what it is in the spring we open it up to our spouses and our adult children, and we travel at different areas around the state, trying to expose ourselves and our members to the different areas of agriculture unique to those particular places we're going to go to. This year we chose Avery Island so we could come and see the Tabasco plant out here and how they make our Tabasco sauce that is all around the world now, we saw. I noticed that their number when I had passed had been at 174,000 bottles today that they've already produced and bottled. The idea of being able to learn more about different areas of production agriculture that we're not exposed to. For me, in my area, we're grain and sugar, but I don't see peppers on a broad base except for the little bit I plant in my home garden. So it's neat to see here how they take those, and now it's a variety of peppers because they have a variety of products, and it's an amazing thing to watch how they take these different peppers and produce this sauce that everyone loves to use in all their meals.
Spring is a very busy time for the Women's Leadership Committee, as this conference is only one of the many events they will participate in.
The annual project by the Women's Leadership Committee donates to this charity to restock the pantries for families who have sick children at nearby hospitals. The house provides for their needs in some of the most desperate times these families face. The donated goods come from farm families all across Louisiana. Denise Canatella says this is not only one of the more popular projects, but also one of the most important ones.
I imagine if I had a sick child, the last thing I'd want to do is worry about where I'm going to sleep and how I'm going to feed myself and whoever would be with me while I'm needing to get back to the hospital and see about a child. So many of them may not have the funding to be able to pay for a hotel or meals out every day. And the last thing they need is to be worrying about those necessities when they really want to just be with their sick child in the hospital. So this, to me, is it's a really great project right up there with our veteran home visits, because we get to give back what we do best as farmers and ranchers in this state.
The Women's Leadership Committee will be making a similar donation to the Ronald McDonald House in Monroe on March 29th at 10 a.m.
Well, Cafe Josephine makes a full court press with Louisiana farm to table. From lettuce grown in Breaux Bridge to oysters from Homa, this hidden jewel of St. Landry Parish combines a home away from home atmosphere with food with an attitude.
This month, Twila's A.J. Sabine brings Louisiana beef, rice, and crawfish to your table.
Feasting on Agriculture with A.J. Sabine is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board. Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat. By the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board. Think rice. And by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Hey there, folks. I'm A.J. Sabine, and welcome to another scrumptious edition of Feasting on Agriculture. This month, we're in Sunset, Louisiana at the marvelous hidden jewel, Cafe Josephine, where here you can find wonderful grilled meats, fresh Louisiana oysters, and of course, Louisiana crawfish. Joining us now is chef and owner, Chef Troy Bijou here of Cafe Josephine. Thank you so much for having us.
It's a pleasure and a blessing for you to be
What
here.
a wonderful facility. This is absolutely great.
It's like eating at your house away from home.
That's
It's
right.
supposed to be, the ambiance and the atmosphere is just, it's supposed to be like you at home, but someone else is cooking and serving you.
Now, Chef Troy, you know one of our viewers wrote us on our Facebook and said, hey, you need to come check out Cafe Josephine. Why is this such a hidden gem here in St. Landry Parish?
Because it's about quality. It's not about quantity. We're very quiet. We don't do a lot of advertisement. Word of mouth has been our best avenue of advertising to people.
Folks, you guys are definitely farm to table.
Yes.
You guys source a lot of your ingredients from farmers and ranchers and producers right here in Louisiana. What are some of those producers and purveyors?
Well, like on the Breaux Ridge Highway, I use Mike with L&L Seafood, who handpicks all of the crab meat and the crawfish, and he's very meticulous. It's very clean. We also have our lettuce hydroponically grown here in Breaux Ridge. Gila Cow Outpost is the people that do that. So we get our lettuce fresh and alive a couple of days a week. And this is a ribeye cap. But the reason I did this is to show people exactly what the ribeye cap is. Of course, everybody's favorite piece is that wet succulent piece right along the edge. And what they do at my vendors is they roll this right off the top of this and send it to me, and they sell the eye to someone else.
Gotcha.
So this is, every bite is the great bite.
Every bite.
Every bite.
Every bite is the great bite here at Cafe
bite.
Josephine.
Yes.
You heard that.
Yes.
Now, how hot do you get this thing?
It gets about 400 or 500 degrees. And how I stay so big, I don't understand. It's not like I'm sweating any weight off. You know, it stays on for some reason. But we're really about local, about trying to stay in and stay with local growers and do farm to table. Does not have to be 3 little bites like they do in a lot of places in the country.
You're right.
Because Cajuns here are going to boycott you. Okay, they want to feel like they got their money worth.
That's right.
And they feel pleasantly full, and they get that here.
What all do you have in here?
Onions and bell pepper and garlic and celery, green onions. The Trinity. The Trinity.
Okay.
The true Trinity.
The Holy Trinity.
That's it, yeah.
And then you're going to sweat this out, and then we're going to put some crawfish in it.
Oh, yeah, and then we're going to put that right over rice. And yum, yum, come get you some. You just got to build layers of flavor. You see, you got to put this nice butter on here and let it caramelize, and it creates levels of flavor. See what it does? See what the fire does? It's like making a gravy. We're making gravy on a piece of meat.
Just in time for Easter.
Oh,
right?
Just in time for any time. Anytime. Man, when crawfish comes into season here, it's like another. People just get all.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Can you imagine? Do you know how many people sell crawfish in Lafayette Parish?
Yes.
A lot.
Yes.
Every corner.
Yes. Yes.
It's crazy.
You're lucky I don't have any crawfish to sell with me right now. Now, what are you putting on there, Chef Troy?
A melange of butter that I do. It's 3 different butters and some green onions, which has to happen on everything here in Louisiana.
Those are gorgeous.
Yes, sir.
That special one-of-a-kind butter that you can only find here at Cafe Josephine.
That's the secret. There's been a many ask, and it's like, Mama said no. We're not sharing that.
Now that you've brung out the oyster, Chef Troy, we need to get some tasting going on.
All right,
here.
we can do that, my friend.
All right, well, folks, you've seen him lay out the oysters. When we get back, Chef Troy and I are going to have a wonderful time with his crawfish etouffee, his oysters, and of course, the ribeye. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Before you sweeten your morning Joe, before the icing on the cake, before the sugar hits the shelf, it begins with a family of sugarcane farmers dedicated to growing Louisiana for more than 220 years. The Sugarcane Growers of Louisiana, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
Louisiana oysters, salty, sweet, and delicious. But have you ever thought about what happens to all those oyster shells? Most of them end up in trash cans and landfills. The Coalition to Restore Coastal Louisiana is changing this with its oyster shell recycling program, and you can help by visiting these participating restaurants. It's a simple and delicious way to restore our coast. The shells will then be used to sustain and rebuild oyster reefs. Remember, once you shuck them, don't just chuck them.
Farming is my way of life. I chose this career, but farming chose me.
A lot of people ask you what you do, and I tell them I'm a farmer.
I'm a cattleman.
I am a fisherman.
I'm a scientist.
I'm a steward of the land.
I am a farm woman.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am Farm Bureau.
I am a Farm Bureau. I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are. Put a Dorito on here.
I got a fish, I got a fish.
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
Thank y'all so much for sticking around. Chef Troy Bijou from Cafe Josephine's here in wonderful, wonderful, quaint town of Sunset. Chef, you've got something brand new that the folks haven't seen before, a wonderful cocktail you've just prepared. Tell folks what that is.
It's actually a smoked old fashioned. It's basically a play off of the regular old fashioned. It's just, we go ahead and fire the wood up and let the smoke infuse the glass, and black cherries and orange juice and Maker's Mark, and here we go, my friend.
Thank you. Now, when you talked about these smoked old fashioned, I thought you were talking about me. Then I realized that there was a cocktail involved. But anyway, kind of give folks a roundup of everything that you've prepared here. These wonderful, wonderful oysters. Go ahead, kind of.
Well, of course, we start off with the raw oysters because typically it's one of the first things people eat at the restaurant. We buy them clean and fresh out of Houma, right. And then we have the charred with the famous Juju butter. That's just me and God made that butter. Okay?
You need to put that in a jar and sell it. I'm just telling you.
That requires a stainless steel room and permits, and no, we tried all that.
Okay.
We're not going that way.
Well, I'm just trying.
We're gonna let people come to Josephine's and enjoy it.
What else do you have here?
And then we have the ribeye cap, which we're kind of well known for here. It's the top of the ribeye. If you watch the whole segment, you're going to understand what part of the ribeye. It's the best bite. And why not get the best bite, the whole thing?
Well, Chef, I don't think the best bite is exclusive to the ribeye cap because this looks wonderful. And finally, you've got some rice, and Louisiana rice and Louisiana crawfish from right here in Lafayette.
Nothing more staple than crawfish etouffee in South Louisiana.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to dive in here. In fact, this is the favorite part of the segment, folks. As you all know, AJ loves the tasting. So while I get down on these oysters and crawfish and steak, tell folks where you are, how they can find you.
We're located about 12 miles north of Lafayette in Sunset, Louisiana. It's a quaint little quiet town. There's a lot of antique shops and different places you can buy different things here. And It's just out of the way, and you know, we have quite a great lunch because the elder generation comes and they don't want to eat a big meal at night, and they don't want to drive at night. So we kind of take care of them for lunch. Can't have pepper, can't have salt. I want this, I want that. And a lot of restaurants don't cater to our elders. And it's very important that we as a society understand that our elders and our veterans are not being taken care of properly like I feel they should be taken care of. So I do my all to take care of the elderly and the veterans, because without the veterans, I couldn't be living my dream. Somebody would be telling me what to do.
Right,
So it's
right.
really important to me that I get that out to the public, that's where my heart is.
Well, Chef Troy, you forgot to mention the flavor you can get here at Cafe Josephine. This is absolutely probably the best piece of meat that I've had in years. It's absolutely fantastic.
Food with attitude.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And the etouffee is a triumph. And then, of course, the grilled oyster is absolutely fantastic. And we saved the pièce de résistance for the smoked old-fashioned.
Yes, sir.
My eponymous drink. But that's something good, yeah.
Yeah. Not too many, though.
No.
Not too many.
Thank y'all so much for having us.
No, it's a blessing to have y'all here.
Well, on behalf of Stuart Poulton and myself, I want to say thank you to you and your lovely wife and all your staff here at Cafe Josephine, right here in Sunset on Napoleon Avenue. If you want more information about Louisiana rice, crawfish, Louisiana beef, oysters, you can always go to our website at twilatv.org. And also, we want to hear from you. If there is a farm-to-table restaurant or a lunchbox where farmers go to, please go to our website and let us know about it at twilatv.org. Well, on behalf of Chef Troy, Cafe Josephine, we'll see you next time.
Feasting on Agriculture with A.J. Sabine was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, Ask Before You Eat, by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, Think Rice, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Landowners are minding the Louisiana forest for our grandchildren. A place for wildlife, recreation, lumber for homes. It's the right thing to do. Forestry, covering half our state, all of our hearts.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
I am a giant panda bear loving bamboo. I almost went extinct, but I'm not because of you. I am a grouse and I almost was too. If it wasn't for the help of the San Diego Zoo. How about you join us?
Save a desert tortoise.
We need your help to bring species back, so bring us back from the brink of extinction. Bring us back from the brink of extinction. I am the bring us back from the brink of extinction. California, bring us back from the brink of extinction.
And desert tortoise.
It's been a while since we've gone online to see what's trending on Twila, but we're bringing you up to date this week with the latest social media news.
This week is National Ag Week, and March 20th was National Ag Day. Many of you took to social media to recognize the contributions farmers and ranchers make to our everyday lives.
And while some folks believe that this holiday is simply a time for farmers and ranchers to pat themselves on the back for working long hours and under tough conditions, That is not the actual intent nor the purpose. Yes, National Ag Day is a time to celebrate and show our appreciation to the men and women who feed us, but it's also a time to clear common misconceptions about the ag industry and to educate consumers how their food and fiber is actually produced.
Many ag groups and state farm bureaus use social media to share industry facts and inspirational farm info for their followers. Some members of the Louisiana Farm Bureau's Women's Leadership Committee celebrated National Ag Day in our nation's capital with legislators and policymakers on the Hill.
National Ag Week also gives the farm community a great platform to show the public just how far the industry has come with technology and food production. Dairy Strong tweeted this great fact. Today, producing a gallon of milk uses 90% less land and 65% less water, with a 63% smaller carbon footprint than in 1944, all thanks to improvements made by dairy farmers in cow comfort, cow health, nutrition, and breeding.
Vice President Mike Pence tweeted a link to his address at the USDA on Tuesday with the caption, "Today on Ag Day, we celebrate America's farmers and agriculture community who help feed the world, fuel our economy, and drive our success as a nation." The Senate Ag Committee tweeted a wonderful video rendition of Paul Harvey's "So God Made a Farmer" speech.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, "I need a caretaker." So God made a farmer.
If you would like to watch the entire video, we posted a link on our website, twilatv.org.
And you know, every year on this holiday, it's great to see all of the support for the agriculture industry, and it comes from a wide array of groups and individuals that you wouldn't necessarily would think would be tweeting about them, but you know.
But that's the idea behind this.
Right.
Get the people who don't normally deal with it every day to notice it, to take some ownership of it too.
And it's pretty cool. Yesterday on Twitter, National Ag Day was one of the top trending topics, and you just don't see agriculture a top trending topic that often.
And I have to give some credit where credit is due. You may have noticed like a video on the Twila site. Well, that was her work right there, putting that together. So if you liked it, if you shared it, and if you haven't, go like it and share it now. But yeah, Kristen did all that hard work on
Well,
it.
that was one that we made earlier last year, but you know, it's a good way to celebrate agriculture.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to this week's trending trivia so you can celebrate agriculture and win something. Last time we asked you, which Louisiana city is known as the crawfish capital of the world? And I think everybody got this right online because the correct answer is Breaux Bridge. This week's trivia question is, which state has the most farms and ranches in America? Is it A, California, B, Texas, or C, Iowa? To enter this week's trending trivia contest, simply log onto your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TwilaTrivia, or you can always submit your answer the old-fashioned way online at the twilatv.org website.
Well, that does it for this edition of Twila. Be sure to join us next week when Neil Melanson will show us how researchers are trying to help shrimp look better in the stores.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
For all of us here at Twila, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.